And we are live. Welcome to episode 7 of Exclusive Release. I am your co-host, Jonathan Tarzantium, and this is my other co-host,
Sal.
Without fail, every time. Every time. All
That's
right.
my name.
So, audio is all good. We're going to go ahead and get all up in the news business. Got some good stuff today. We got some news, too, at the end of this episode to talk about a couple changes with the stream coming up. Also, I want to make an indication of our our second advertisement. A4G was supporting us, of course. Again, thank you, Advocate for Gamers, for your support. But we have our new advertisement paid for by Uncle Jackalby. It is a beautiful work of art. Please appreciate.
Did he make that?
He made most of it, but like the bottom two pictures, he didn't have them on there at first, but I suggested that they be on there, and he said yes, please put them on. So I went ahead and put it on there.
I have so many pictures of him on my phone because he sends the most ridiculous Snapchats.
He does. It's pretty great. I mean, like they're pretty good.
Without a fail, at least 3 times a week, we get a 9 o'clock in the morning poop Snapchat.
Yeah, I mean he's very regular.
Not of poop, just him pooping.
You can tell that he's in a bathroom stall. That's all.
Yes.
Which it never fails to brighten. That's the greatest little mini hydro flask I've ever seen. It's a little mini thing.
Oh yeah. I think I just broke my. There you go. Oh yeah, it's for tea, but I put water in it. It's so cute.
I have one that's like a taller one. It's like for coffee, but it's cute. It's a little tiny one. Yeah. So, any other greetings, mentions, other than thank you, Uncle Jackalby, for your support? We have already begun to use that money to support our stream. We bought ourselves a copy of Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah.
To check out.
I'm 10 hours in right now.
How's it going?
I probably progressed the story by 1%.
That sounds good. That's all.
It's a slow game. That's for sure.
All right. So we can go ahead once again. Go ahead and jump in. Once again, we come back to a topic we've talked about many a time. That is loot boxes. I feel like every time we come back to it, it's a little bit more.
Every week we've been talking about this for the past month.
Yeah, but there's always new news on it. I mean, it's relevant to people who are trying to follow the game industry. And I mean, like I said, we've already done a lot of the conversation. So if this is news to you, please go back and watch all of our episodes on our YouTube channel.
Please go back. We have hundreds of hours.
Yes.
Of content out there.
Not hundreds. About
10.
7 to 10, roughly. At least 7, because each podcast is an hour. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Yes, your weekly cookie. We forgot.
My weekly cookie. So, my mom gets all these things all the time. They're like these cookies. They're pretty good.
I was gonna say, are they like super buttery?
Yeah, it's like they just get butter and throw it in an oven, and then you get these.
That's pretty great.
Okay.
I mean, that's some magic. But you're gonna be like, I'm gonna save those for after when I'm done actually eating.
I'm eating really healthy today. Wendy's. I'm on the Asmongold diet, as I was telling Jonathan. Chili cheese fries and a spicy chicken sandwich from. What did I say? Wendy's.
Wendy's. It's clearly doing a lot for the functioning of your brain. All we really have to say, I mentioned earlier when we were talking about this before about in terms of legislation about how when you leave things to the government to regulate, it's gonna be bad. You know, the ESRB should have come out on this a lot sooner. And they finally did, so this is good. I mean, like, all I've heard is that there's going to be indications on like the boxes of games that you buy, the same place that the rating's going to be. It's going to probably be like right there. It's going to be like contains loot boxes or something like that. I don't know much more beyond that, but like it's a good thing they finally are doing something about it. Like I don't know why it took them so long, but they're doing it now finally. I know we've talked loot boxes into the ground in terms of news. Do you have anything you want to pitch in for that one, Sal? Or are you just like Yeah. Loot boxes.
It's
Yes,
a good thing.
I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This one I knew I didn't want to spend too much time on. It's just it's news for you guys. If you hadn't heard, the ESRB is now going to start including labeling for loot boxes in their games. Now let's talk about something else that we haven't beaten to the ground already. Overwatch just announced their is it number 27? 27th hero Bridgette? Right?
Yes.
So Bridgette.
Bridgette.
Is it Bridgette? Really?
That's how Jeff Kaplan from the Overwatch team said it.
Really? Bridgette?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Mini
anything
Reinhardt.
Jeff Kaplan from the Overwatch team says, I know it's gospel. So
Wrestle with Jeff and you mess with Des. Although that was Dino Flask, but let's be real. Dino Flask videos might as well be just Jeff Kaplan talking.
Just Jeff Kaplan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Kaplan from the Overwatch team made a video.
A developer update.
And so I don't know if you can get a visual of her up. Maybe.
I would have to block something out here.
Oh. And she's supposed to be like Reinhardt's squire. So she's literally Reinhardt just with a smaller shield. And instead of a hammer, she has a flail. So she's melee, but it has pretty good range on it. It's like a rocket flail kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a mace, but then it shoots out like a flail.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out.
She's a support hero, which is weird.
That threw
she's
me
like
for a loop. Yeah.
She's a half tank. She's a support hero with 400 health.
Yeah.
And defense abilities. It's weird. Oh, she's also Torbjorn's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find a picture, but
yeah, her ult, it makes her move faster and gives all nearby allies armor that lasts until it's gone. It's just so like Torbjorn's armor, but she applies like 100 armor. I think
she's literally mostly Reinhardt, but also a little bit of other.
A little Torbjorn-y?
Well, I was a little Torbjorn-y and a little bit Zenyatta-y because her ult is pretty much Zenyatta's, except for.
In her repair pack, she throws it out like Zenyatta does. It's a soft reticle that follows people around, much like Zenyatta's orbs do. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When it has like the square around the hero.
Yeah.
And you throw it out, and then it's just gone until you can throw it again.
Well, does it do it like Zenyatta's does? Does it do it over time? Does it replenish a shield on them?
Yes.
Or... Oh, really? I thought it was just a beh, and it's on them. Kind of like a... I don't know.
All right, let's read it. Bridgette throws a repair pack that can heal an ally. Any healing over the ally's maximum health provides them with armor instead. That's pretty busted.
Yeah, it's really crazy good.
Yeah. I love Overwatch in how although they did catch a lot of flack because Paladins is saying that they stole this idea from them, which is bullshit because Paladins stole the whole concept of their game from Overwatch.
They're like... That's pretty funny. Hey! Kettle.
Hey, you
black.
stole.
Pot. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, question: who's the pot? Who's the kettle? I don't know, but
yeah.
I will say every time they release a new hero, because I know you got more into Overwatch than I did.
I definitely don't play it. I don't play it at all anymore, actually.
Well, I know you did more than me. This is too much.
Yeah, I was trying to go pro at one point, but I fucking suck. So, yeah, no.
So I usually only come back when new heroes come out. I always like to check out the new heroes, and it's always exciting to see what they do. I thought Moira was kind of cool.
Moira, I like that the latest heroes that they come up with. What were the latest heroes?
Doomfist,
Bridgette, Moira, and Orisa? Was it? Or was Doomfist after
Doomfist
Orisa?
Came out after Orisa.
All those four, they're super different and unexpected. I don't know if that makes sense. They're not it doesn't feel like they're just cookie cutter heroes. I don't know if that makes sense.
Orisa felt like a Mod Podge of other heroes because she had.
But she's supposed to be in the lore. In the lore, it makes sense.
She's just because what's her face?
Because the little girl made her to be an amalgamation of a bunch of Overwatch heroes. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
I always like when they come out with new ones and Bridgette or whatever her name is. I love Reinhardt, so I don't mind another mini Reinhardt that you change things up and play support now.
I will say she's not a tank. You can't play her as a tank like you would play Reinhardt or you would play Diva. You can't. She's a good support to Reinhardt. Like she's like literally in the lore, she's Reinhardt Squire. She's a really good support to Reinhardt and a really good support to Orisa and like Roadhog. But Diva and Winston, she can't do that much with.
She got a lot of knockback. She has 2 knockbacks.
She has 2 knockbacks. Well, one is not a knockback. One's a stun. The shield bash is a stun.
It'll still push him back. Because I watched a video today of someone on PTR.
No, well, let me.
I watched some. Yeah, it's a stun, but it.
No, you dash forward. The shield bash. You deploy. You have to have your shield up, and you dash forward, and then if you hit someone, you stun them.
Well, I saw a video. Up. I saw a video today of someone, on Ilios, the hole in the middle that Lucio's love.
Yes.
I saw. I saw one on the PTR where she knocks another Bridgette into that hole using shield bash, because she had just used flail to knock someone else in it. I think it was on like the Reddit if you really wanted to check it out. But I mean, I like that she has a lot of CC. That's really good in a support. I like that the way that they've, to look at kind of like from a League of Legends point of view, it's really interesting because a lot of like League of Legends champions and supports, at first I thought like, oh, if you have a heal, you're a support. But then they introduced like other heroes like that are predominantly CC based and kind of like utility, which I think is good.
The video you saw, she didn't use her seal bash to boop her. It was her. Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
She used her flail to push her, and then she doesn't go in, and then she does her shield bash. Yeah, it's a small knockback, but you're right, it does stun them.
Yeah. The flail is a huge one. That's like a really big knockback.
Yeah. She is hardcore countered by Doomfist though, from what I've seen.
Really?
Like it's insane how easy it is to kill her with a Doomfist. Because you're supposed to just stand there with a shield, right? And you're not big like Reinhardt that you can't push Reinhardt back that much because he's bigger. Actually, I don't think that's true. That might just be me.
I was gonna say I think your problem is more the health and survivability thing.
Health and survivability. She does have 600 armor.
She has 600 armor. What?
No, she has 400. 200 health, 200 armor.
Okay. I was gonna say what? I was gonna say because Reinhardt's like 250, right? I thought it was.
Oh.
I don't know. Or 250, 300, something like that. I know he's got like a lot of armor. That's his thing.
Health 300, 200 armor.
Oh, health 300, 200 armor.
He's 62 years old, and his real name is Reinhard Benelholm.
Thank you for that.
Just FYI.
I'm very grateful. That's some really useful Reinhardt information.
You're welcome.
Other than that, I mean, Bridgette, cool, exciting. Anything else you want to share about Bridgette?
I like her abilities, but one thing I like about Overwatch is that a lot of times these heroes they're kind of unique. Like Tracer is like instant recognizable. So is Reinhardt, Winston, Mercy, Lucio. But the past few heroes, they haven't been like that. They don't stand out to me that much.
I don't know. I thought Moira was kind of interesting.
Definitely Moira, but like,
Doomfist had his hype.
He had his hype, yeah. I mean, he does have a giant gauntlet, so you're right.
He had his hype.
But Orisa just looks like a robot, like she's a robot. Yeah. Like, she's a quadruped, but that's about it.
Orisa was okay.
And Bridgette is just a girl with armor.
But Torbjorn and Reinhardt, which I don't know. I guess that's kind of why she's kind of boring, because she gets her like interestingness not from her own character, but rather from other characters that already exist.
Yeah, if you're into Overwatch lore, then I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's actually like just bad character design. If like someone's character depends on the character of others, it's kind of lame. No,
I think she still has her own. I'm not saying she looks bad. She looks cool, but she doesn't stand out and pop out to me like Roadhog would or Junkrat. Yeah.
I mean, because like that's kind of the thing about Overwatch is like the lineup is a bunch of really unique, like diverse cast.
That's like the whole point of the game. Yeah. That's why they made it.
You've got like a cybernetic ninja. You've got a super fat Australian robber with a hook and a shotgun. You've got a crazy bomb dude. You've got a giant robot German.
You got literally a ghost.
Literal ghost. A ghost but with spook guns and skull
Yeah,
face.
he's just a bit of an edgelord.
Yeah, you've got a classic Call of Duty.
Diva, I think Diva is like, she's pretty, like, it doesn't care, in terms of character design, she's like really unique, that she like loses her armor and pops out.
Oh, in
she
terms
gives
of
birth to
gameplay
herself.
Design? Yeah.
That's character design too, because she has two designs. It's just not her mech, it's also little baby Diva.
Yeah, I get you. Baby Diva. Imp Diva, when she becomes the true devil.
She gives birth to herself, but she blows herself up.
Yeah. Okay. So next topic, you good with that?
Yeah.
Bridgette, player, she's on PTR and she'll be live.
Oh, also in Overwatch, there's new skins for the Lunar New Year.
Oh yeah.
The skins are fucking dope.
They always are.
They are so sick. And they added. So the cool thing that they're doing is that Overwatch does the same events every year, so you can get the skins that you didn't get maybe last year, and they just add more skins on top of that. So they added, they only added 5 skins, no, 6 skins compared to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the 11, 12 rather, that 13, I can count, that they came out with last year. It seems like a little low.
Well, I mean,
but they are way cooler, and they're all legendaries. There is no epics, yeah.
Which, I mean, like, I think that's just because they don't want to dilute the pool too much. If you wanted, Chinese New Year, May or whatever, and like you didn't get it last year, you don't want to. I don't know. Which actually,
there's 2 skins for May.
Fun fact: Chinese New Year May is the only Chinese New Year skin that I got, and I don't play.
Which one? The white one, or there's one. 2. The red one or the white one?
The red one.
Yeah.
The red one. Which I don't play May at all.
Yeah.
0 seconds played on May.
That's why when you go up against the May, you don't know what the fuck to do, because you don't know how they're played.
I know exactly how they're played, actually.
No.
Yeah.
The thing about Overwatch is that you can't refuse to play a character, because you're not going to know how the fuck to play against that character. You can't. To be a good player, and pros have talked about this, they're like, you need to be able to play every single character. Because you need to understand the nuance and the strats that a player using that character might do.
I just don't want to contribute to the cancer that is May. So
it's not even that bad. I actually like May. Oh. She actually got buffed, and people are like, "Why?
Why?
What the fuck are you doing, Blizzard?"
All right. Well, next topic, sticking in the Blizzard vein. Hearthstone just announced their Year of the Raven, which is, for those of you who don't know much about Hearthstone, like Salvador. Every year in Hearthstone, this game's been around since, I don't know, I played it, I want to say I've been playing it for maybe about 4 years. So I want to say it came out in around 2014. But obviously in that time, they've released a lot of cards for this game. And if anyone wants to get into it, it's free to play. It's supposed to be free to play, right? So free to play. If it's free to play, obviously, when you've been releasing like a couple thousand cards and someone who just comes in doesn't have any of them, they might feel a little overwhelmed coming in. So what Hearthstone has is they have 2 formats. They have the
Shitty Blizzard.
Yeah, Shitty Blizzard, man. All their money making gambits.
Money grubbing.
So they have two formats. There's wild format, which is every single card ever printed is available to be played, and there's standard format, which only cards that are in the current standard year are available to play, usually from the last 2 years. So this last year's expansions being Ungoro Crater, Knights of the Frozen Throne, and Kobolds and Catacombs. So those 3 are going to stay in this next year in Year of the Raven, and they're going to release 3 more expansions. Now, what's important to note is that, and what we'll really be focusing on when we're talking here, is that they made a couple changes with whenever they change the year. They don't just rotate out the old sets normally. Usually this is when they start bringing out quality of life changes for the game. Like, they finally made changes.
I hate that term so fucking much. And I think we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Oh my god, I fucking hate that term.
Well, it's the most accurate definition for what they do. So the quality of life changes they made this year. Well, they rotated out 3 more cards: Molten Giant, Cold Light Oracle, and Ice Block for Hearthstone players out there. Rotated out because they're kind of limiting in terms of design space for new cards, because as long as those cards exist, that's what they do. Like, these are classic cards that were always available, and now they're not going to be in standard. They're only going to be in wild. And so they like to create new decks, and they rotate that stuff out. They also changed some of the quests that people have been asking for a long time to help make it more free to play, because we went free to play, and they actually made it more free to play by making a couple of the quests easier and reward more gold, which is really good. But I don't want to dive too much into specifics about Hearthstone, because about the nuance of this is good for the meta because it's gonna make your Molten Giants, they're really oppressive and people didn't like the changes they made.
When you talk about Hearthstone, can you please use that voice all the fucking time?
Every time? Be like, I was playing my Q-Block deck.
Hey dad, I'm gonna grow up and kill people.
But what we really want to talk about is, because I wanted to talk about this, but I know Sal would have just been sitting here quietly drinking his water out of his tea hydro flask. But
this episode is sponsored by Hydro Flask.
Not really, no.
Not really. I mean,
we are both drinking.
I do own 4 Hydro Flasks, so there's
in my house currently there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No, you don't understand. I own 4 just for myself. My mom has 2.
Yeah, you have a problem.
I got one for free, so this one was $10.
I had one for free too. I forgot about that. Yeah, anyway, so I wanted to talk about what, because it's interesting to look at card games in the digital format, because there have been a rising over the last few years. Hearthstone really kind of set the pace with it. And I talk about this with one of my friends who I talk about Hearthstone with all the time. That
it's me.
Yeah, totally.
No.
There aren't really any big competitors for Hearthstone out there. There are a couple other games that are out there and trying to make their money, and they're doing okay. I think there's Shadowverse is one of them. There's also
I've never heard of that. I don't even know what that is.
There's Gwent. There's also, Elder Scrolls just released one. Didn't Dota?
Yeah, but that wasn't just released. Elder Scrolls has been out for a while, the card game.
Yeah, isn't
Legends? Elder Scrolls Legends? I don't fucking know.
I think Dota made one.
So let's see. Hearthstone is the 7th game. What's with me in counting today? Jesus. In Twitch. And then you gotta scroll down. The next card game is Slay the Spire. But that's not a multiplayer game.
No, that's not even a multiplayer game.
And then the next... Wait. Gwent is next. At 800 viewers. How many does Hearthstone have? 28,000.
Yeah.
It's not even a competition.
It's not even a competition, really.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of my point, is this game really sets the pace for how collectible card games online are going to go. Which, I think card games should have been online a long time ago. There was Dual Network for Yu-Gi-Oh! That was it's been shut down by Konami since because of copyright infringement. That was pretty much just, you get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, which is cool. But the world is moving towards digital, like we've talked about before. And it doesn't make sense to have such a big medium, a big style of game to be available online. It's just interesting, the question as to well, how do you actually implement putting a card game online? Because like, do you have trading involved? And we've talked about how loot box trading caused shit storms before. So like, how much worse is like card pack trading, which literally those cards affect how good your deck is. So yeah, I usually that there's a reason why online card games are CCGs and not TCGs, meaning collectible card games and not trading card games. Because I don't think any of these games you can trade cards between players, which is probably for the best. But we were like trying to talk about like about keeping like a format like that fitting in a digital form, and like so far I think Blizzard's done some stuff.
I don't think you can. I'm gonna say, and I'll tell you why. The cool thing about Magic is that you have a physical object. You're like, dude, this is a Black Lotus. This costs $28,000. That's what's cool about Magic the Gathering. From what I hear, I don't play Magic the Gathering. I don't fucking know.
I wouldn't say that's what's cool about. Okay,
and I don't know. And then also, you can't just. There's kind of like a community aspect to Magic the Gathering. You have to go to a place, sit down, talk to people, interact, which is good for all these neckbeards out here.
Not to be a stereotype, but I've been to those places and it's not entirely accurate.
And they have to interact, force them to socialize. And Hearthstone, you don't fucking have to. You can just be toxic, smelling your own farts at home, playing Hearthstone. I mean, that's why I think.
But does that stop the design of the game? That doesn't. Sure, you lose out on what you think.
I'm just saying it's better. Just according to my opinion.
Well, so you're saying it's not a 1-to-1 translation? Well, duh, it never is. You know, it's never.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'll be honest.
I mean, fair enough, but like, it's interesting to think about like. They're trying to fit, because like, let's be real, Blizzard's a money-making company, and there are very few mediums of games that are as profitable as card games are. Card games are so expensive.
I can tell you one: subscription-based MMOs.
I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know.
If you look at the financials of Blizzard, this is my accounting knowledge coming in. You can tell. Out of all the money that Blizzard makes, 50% of it comes from World of Warcraft.
Is that because... Here's why I would give that, like, hesitant, right? So when you think about their top games, and, like, in terms of player base, their top games are...
They have a top game. That's it. It's World of Warcraft.
Well, okay, but, like, in terms of...
knowledge, that's right.
Like, yes, in terms of, like numbers and, like, support... I'd say their top games right now are Overwatch, WoW, and Hearthstone, right? And those are their big three. Because, like, Diablo is,
Overwatch is the biggest, Hearthstone, then WoW. If you just look at Twitch. And Twitch is really a really good indicator of where the audience is.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, it's like one-on-one.
And I mean, sometimes, usually, okay, it's something like WoW can, like, peak back up occasionally over Overwatch.
When WoW peaks... When there's something exciting going on, like a new expansion or a new patch, it goes to the top of Twitch.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Overwatch has been hanging in number 2 for the past 3 weeks. Like number 2 or 3 because of Overwatch League, and they're killing it with the Overwatch League. Remember when we talked about it, I told you that I thought they were doing an amazing job. My hair, no. But, yeah.
Well, so what I was saying was that with those games, you've got okay, so Overwatch is a one-time purchase, which other than that, like, you can buy loot boxes.
But that's not where they make most of their money for Overwatch.
They make it from loot boxes.
From loot boxes.
But here's where the big difference comes from, right? You can buy like, for me, for the most part, I haven't bought that many loot boxes.
I fucking have.
Okay, but here's...
I've dropped like $300.
I would say that you're close. You push closer to a whale than the average player. Yeah. So, like, I would say that your style of playing isn't the average player style. Most players don't spend a lot of money on the game. Usually what they'll do is, like, if a new event comes out, they'll spend $20, $30 on, like, a couple loot boxes, but they don't, like, consistently just, throw money at it, especially because all of the stuff in the loot boxes is cosmetic, which, don't get me wrong, that's a great thing. But that doesn't really exactly drive people to have to buy loot boxes all the time. For example, I haven't paid for a loot box since Halloween of last year because I don't need to. I really don't feel the need to. And so in terms of Overwatch, their main means of making money is the loot boxes off of the whales. Other than that, though, the game sale. For a lot of players, that's the only place they're going to make money. Wow, you're right. You have to pay for the content, and then you also have to pay a consistent subscription. And here's where I think it comes more relevant, because you have to pay that. You didn't have to pay for loot boxes, so you have to pay for that. On the other hand, then you come into Hearthstone. You get there, buddy? You got oil on your camera?
Do I?
I don't know. You were just waving tissues on it.
Yeah, I was cleaning it. So.
Well, I mean, let me just.
My computer.
What? Go ahead.
I launched Overwatch by accident. I launched Overwatch by accident, and I can't. There you go. Thank you, computer.
Okay, you good? You good now?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And
we out here.
Hearthstone. You have to buy packs. I mean, like, you can spend gold on them, but like packs are an integral part of the gameplay. So like people who usually I usually do throw about $20 an expansion at card packs, like, just because, like, and I try to play pretty cheap but I just try to stay relevant, because to be relevant in Hearthstone you need cards. So like it's kind of interesting, because WoW probably makes them more money consistently, but I imagine that Hearthstone, if they made it, I don't know, there's a lot of more room for money in there, which I'm glad that they're not seizing on. Because someone on Reddit was talking, like, someone came onto the Reddit and they posted about, like, everyone complains about the cost of playing Hearthstone because of how expensive it is to buy packs, how rarely you get gold, how expensive dust is to craft cards. Basically, they're forcing you to buy packs, which makes sense because they're a company and they want to make money, right? On the other hand, like, you look at other card companies. This guy posts on Reddit and he says, like, Cone, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively for years, and to stay relevant, it costs thousands of dollars a season. And you had no idea what they were, like, they had a bunch of, like, practices in terms of balancing that were just a nightmare. So, what are you looking at right now? You're kind of like...
I'm looking at the Activision Blizzard financials.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have any interesting finds to share?
No, except this. I'm surprised that they don't own any subsidiaries.
What do you mean?
It says they don't own any other companies. It's just Activision Blizzard. That's it. That's just the company. Most of these companies that are traded usually own a bunch of other companies.
I mean, like, they kind of, at least... Wait, Activision doesn't own anything else, though? That's weird to me. That is weird. Blizzard, I believe, they do everything in-house, you know? But, like...
Yeah.
Activision...
Well, I'm looking at the combined value. You can't look at Blizzard. You can't look at Activision.
I know.
That's all internal, and if they want to release it.
Yeah,
but ATBI, Activision Blizzard, it says minority interest, 0. That means they don't own a minority interest in any company. It's $0. Equity, earnings, and loss unconsolidated subsidiaries, 0.
Well,
Net income,
yes.
No.
Good. All that to
Maybe
say,
look at the balance sheet.
All that to say, like, it's just card games in a digital format. Like, it's, you can look at the other card games and none of them are doing well. They're not. Like, no. They're really not. Like, and that's no offense to, like, the quality of their games. I mean, hell, my my streaming career started with Chronicle, which is the RuneScape card game. And that lived for all of, like, 4 or 5 weeks. I spent, like, $50 on packs in that game. I don't know if you knew that, but that was because...
It sucks.
Whatever. It's not a big deal.
It's $50 in fucking chump change.
Chump change, dude. I'll throw $50 in it right now, dude. No, but, like... Which, like, I haven't heard a thing about... I wonder if that's even still streamed on Twitch, honestly. I was one of, like, 4 streamers. So, it was certainly...
I'm sure you guys killed it.
Oh, I did, dude. Like, multiple times I was #1 streamer. But
in that game, I forgot the name of it already.
RuneScape Chronicle, dude.
Exactly.
I wonder if it's... Let's see if anyone's actually streaming it right now. But, yeah. So, no, not that one. I don't think anyone's even streaming it, dude. This is my chance to come back, and make a killing by playing a game that there's no one else is playing, dude. I would be the only one playing it. Yeah, no, that wouldn't be a good idea.
That'd be a terrible idea.
That'd be
What else we got on the card here?
On the docket, we'll go ahead and move on. This is where
this is where we're just gonna talk about one thing for the rest of the fucking
CD
podcast.
Projekt Red's coming in.
That's
now,
basically it.
Yeah, all that we're talking about for the rest of the podcast is gonna be CD Projekt Red stuff. Literally, like and that didn't happen on purpose. It's just kind of like
It just happened that way.
Yeah.
A bunch of news.
A bunch of news came up, and also, I mean, spoiler alert: Game Club for today is The Witcher 3. Because Sal was playing it, and he said, "Hey, let's talk about it." And I'm like, "I like The Witcher, so we go ahead and talk about it." So the rest, put on your CD Projekt Red pants, babies, because we got CD Projekt Red stuff to do. All right. So,
do you want to get into some of the smaller topics before we? The pop-up surprise topics I was talking about before.
Oh yeah. So
I found this one, and I want to talk to you about it. You watched The Walking Dead, right?
A little bit.
I don't, because it's a terrible show. But so Maggie, Lauren Cohen, the actress that plays Maggie. So from what I hear is that the main three characters in the show right now are Rick, Maggie, and Daryl. Is that his name?
Yeah, Daryl's a character. I do know that. I haven't watched in like the last 2 or 3 seasons.
So from what I hear, they're the three main characters, and then they get the same amount of screen time, same amount of hype from the audience. And Lauren Cohen is being paid way less than the other two, like significantly less. So she was like, "If you're not gonna pay me the same, fuck you, I'm leaving." And then they were like, "Oh no, wait, we need you to finish our shitty show." So she just went. She literally went, "If you don't pay me as much as they're making, fuck you, I'm leaving." And for a while they were like, "All right, leave. You won't." And she was like, "Yes, I will. I have movie deals lined up the fucking ass." What do you think about that? Because I think in that point she's 100% right.
100%. That's some bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, here's what I do have one little gripe. I don't think Maggie is on the same par as Daryl.
From what I hear in the currency, like at the current level of the show, and I don't know if you're caught up, like she is. And she's getting the same hype.
I mean, I'm not saying I know, but I get the sense, because Daryl is his own entity in terms of amount of hype that Daryl is. It doesn't just come from the show. Norman Reedus is just awesome. So I think, and Rick is just the main character.
I found a list: 25 Walking Dead characters ranked by how much we care.
Makes about sense. Makes sense. I mean, that's honestly for me, that whole list would be 0 because I really just kind of stopped.
It's a shitty fucking show.
Well, it's not. It's not the show.
It's a shitty show.
It's
since the beginning. It's been a shitty fucking show.
Okay, that's not accurate. For me, my problem became what I liked it. For me with the show, at least, little aside. Here, let me change it to. We're talking about The Walking Dead. Let me just say that a little aside. The reason why I personally stopped watching The Walking Dead was because of what I like to call the Attack on Titan issue, in the sense that Attack on Titan I stopped really kind of caring about because I didn't really care if anyone died anymore, because I'm like, everyone dies. I don't need to attach myself to anyone. Which interesting that Game of Thrones doesn't do that, because they kind of build the really long characters and then kill off one every so often, the really big ones every so often.
Yeah.
But I really stopped giving a shit if people died in The Walking Dead. So that's why I stopped watching.
The problem with The Walking Dead is that there's so many fucking characters.
Yeah, there really are.
There's too many.
Well,
and the same for Game of Thrones. And honestly, for Game of Thrones, the amount of characters that die in season 1 is fucking astronomical. 100 characters. Serious characters just get fucking killed. And you're like, oh, well, this is what this show is. All right. And then later you're like, oh, they're actually killing characters that I actually care about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's to say, what was her name? Lauren? Lauren what?
Lauren Cohen.
Lauren Cohen.
Cohen?
It's Cohen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming the name is spelled how I assume Cohen is spelled.
No, it's Cohen. It's not Cohen. It's Cohen. I'm pretty sure it's Cohen. That's what it's pronounced.
Cohen.
Trust me, I'm the expert in pronouncing
So
English words.
it definitely is bullshit that she's getting paid significantly less. Not jumping into gender politics about it, but that definitely is bullshit.
It is. I mean, it kind of is.
It is about gender politics.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we don't need to jump into it to say like,
that's
bullshit.
But, yeah,
I mean that definitely is. It's a gender problem, and that's what it's about. But I will say that that's just bullshit. That's ridiculous. I mean, I don't think anyone reasonably, thinking in terms of fair treatment goes and says, yes, that makes sense. She should be paid less. I mean, like, I can see being paid ever so slightly less, like maybe like a couple, like, I don't know, a percentage, like, of like, because that's just because, like, I genuinely think Daryl deserves to be paid the most because he probably draws in the most viewers. If Daryl made 100% and Rick made 98% of that and Maggie made like 96% of that would make sense to me because, like, that's kind of relative to how much people love them in the show and, like, whatever. I think that, but if it's worse than that, and that's not because of who they are or like even their characters, just like relative to what the demand of the show would raise money for, like where they would make their money. So I don't know. What was the other? You were talking about something else before the stream though. What was the other thing you brought up?
It was fucking Trump to meet with gaming industry executives to discuss video game violence.
Well, I mean, what does that mean? Did you read that article at all?
Yeah, he's because everyone from the GOP is blaming gun violence on fucking video games. So he's like, we gotta talk with the executives.
They gotta watch.
They're the one they're making money off of the deaths of our children, but the gun companies aren't, right? I don't know. So this is a quote from the president. I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence in video games is really shaping young people's thoughts, said Trump last week after a mass shooting left 17 people dead at a high school in Parkland, Florida. And then you go to the further step. That kind of doesn't make sense. And that's the movies. What the fuck? What? You see these movies, and they're so violent, and yet a kid is able to see a movie if sex isn't involved. But killing is involved, and maybe they have to go through, what the fuck is it? Dude, our president's retarded. And maybe they have to put through a rating system for that.
Wait, put a rating system on movies?
And maybe they have to put through a rating system for that. Can you tell me what that means?
This is a quote from him, from Donald
Trump. From him, yes. Okay. And then he says, and the article ends, there are, of course, established rating systems for both video games and movies, so it's unclear what specific changes Trump would like to see made.
The problem is again, what we said last week when this came up. Why is this even a discussion? This isn't the discussion.
We finished this discussion in 2005.
This isn't a discussion at all. This one's resolved. We're done with it. We need to move on. It really just... Guns... Like video games are not... I will say, like, I can see... Okay, let me play devil's advocate for 1 second. And let me put it like this. I can see where the fear-mongering and the fear comes from, right? Because one time, I walked into my brother's room, and he was playing GTA 5. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, I play GTA 5 too, and I like that game. It's a lot of fun. But literally, I just walked in, and I just watched him play, and, like, as soon as I walked in, he's running down the street, playing as Trevor, running around in his underwear. And he has a hatchet, and he just runs up to a random woman on the street and whacks her in the back of the head, and she falls on the ground, and he just starts beating her corpse with the hatchet. And I'm like, yes, I can see why this game would cause, media upset in terms of violence. It definitely is disturbing. Now, does that make my brother a psychopath? I think he was a psychopath in the first place. No, I'm kidding. No. Does it make my brother a psychopath? No, he's not a psychopath because he plays GTA 5. Does it make me a minor because I play Minecraft? Does it make me, which is like, that's just as much the argument. Like, I know we brought it up last week, but like, let's start that argument. Whenever someone goes, video games are making our kids violent, I'm like, Stardew Valley made me a farmer. It's true.
Hey, I was really into Stardew Valley, and I bought a farm. Hey, I'm making so much money off cranberry wine. You have no fucking idea.
I was.
Trust me. Talk about rags to riches. Cranberry wine.
One day I was flipping burgers. I went home, played Kerbal Space Program. Boom! I was an astrophysicist the next day. It was terrible. My life was ruined. Like, that's just as much the argument that we need to be having, which is, would I just vote be the standard response whenever someone comes up and says, like, violent video games are making our children violent, and I'm like, and Minecraft is making me make dynamite out of exploding green dicks, you know? It's a stupid argument. And we don't...
Yeah.
Was there anything else you brought up? I think there was one more thing, wasn't there?
Yeah, Marvel just gives the dates for 7 more movies for 2020 to 2022. So that's like stage 4 or stage 5, I believe. I'm not sure. And they're dated May 7th, 20... Okay. 7/31/20, 5 May. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to read them out.
Yeah,
just
you don't need to read them out.
Well, 7 movies in 2 years, 3 years.
Which, like, I actually want to talk about, because, like, I just watched the Black Panther, right? I watched it recently.
Don't spoil that for me, please.
I'm not going to. It was great, though. It really was good. It was very enjoyable. And, like, I've heard mostly just good things about it. I heard on one other podcast of a friend of mine, you know, that he didn't like it, but, like, you know... for the most part, I don't think so. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know this dude that well, but he could be. I don't.
Yeah, he might be.
Hey, dude. It could happen to anybody. Okay.
It could happen to anybody. Or could it?
Could it? But I mean, like, it could be. It could be your neighbor. It could be you. Are you the racist?
Wait, what's that? What does it say? Chris D'Elia's in a stand-up, he goes, I know I don't have a child, and it's like, and some people tell me, but maybe you can. He's like, nope, I'm pretty sure, nope, I don't have a child. Like, I always wear a condom, like I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah, I don't know where you were going with that. I think you just wanted to.
I don't know.
Chris D'Elia stand-up, which
some
always
Chris D'Elia.
Don't get me wrong, I love music.
Chris D'Elia is always great.
But
buy his merch. His merch is hilarious.
Anyway, what we were talking about really in terms of Marvel. So the reason we're talking about this is because they just announced that the Infinity War is going to release the same day here in America as it is internationally, which is the first time they're doing that for a Marvel movie. Normally they don't debut it.
And they made it seem like Robert Downey Jr. just said, hey, release it earlier. And they were like, okay.
Yeah,
but on Twitter, but you can tell, like,
there's no way that's how it actually works. There, like, the work that goes into releasing a Marvel movie and like getting it to air and debut. There's no way that, like, it's like, all right, we're gonna set it up for.
It's not like my boy Kev Figs was sitting in his fucking big ass desk that I'm assuming he has, and he gets a text from Robert Downey Jr. He's like, hey, release it early. He's like, all right, but Robert Downey Jr. said to release it early. All right. What do? I'm only the president of Marvel Studios.
Anyway, what I kind of wanted to talk about was because I finished watching Black Panther, and I turned to my girlfriend and I said, "It is such a good time to be a nerd right now. It really is. Like, I can't say how much, like." Maybe it's just like a different like social climate, like to be like, hey, whatever you like, you know, you like what you like. No one's allowed to tell you what you can or cannot like. But there really is a lot of support for the stuff that I like. I mean, like, I didn't read a lot of comic books. At least I didn't read Marvel comic books growing up. But I did certainly like them. I liked the cartoons I got to watch. Like, I loved like the Batman animated series and stuff. And, you know, right now it's like, oh, Marvel's coming out with movies like every year, and they're all
like 3 every year.
Yeah, 3 every year. And not just that, but they're good too, you know? And Star Wars is back, which, you know, make your argument about whether or not it's good or not, whatever. I enjoy them, and I'm happy that they're around. So, Solo is coming out this year, I think. And then, so yeah, I mean, like, it's Disney, which I was kind of thinking, because, like, I remember growing up and, like, Disney movies being like Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, you know, Snow White, you know.
You remember when Aladdin came out?
I had them on VHS is what I mean. Like,
yeah.
Like,
because Aladdin came out in, like, 91, dude.
Okay, I think 95 was when Toy Story came out, which is, yeah. So Toy Story Anyway,
92.
Toy
Aladdin
Story
came
was
out.
my shit as a kid. I loved it. That was my shit. Anyway, I think it's interesting that like Disney now is like, hey, we're making movies for everyone and the adults. I hope you enjoy superheroes, and like I do, so it's kind of cool. But like I don't know, I just thought that was really cool that I really enjoyed the Black Panther. I love that superhero movies are not only good, but they're like mainstream good. They're like not Pulp Fiction as in the movie, but Pulp Fiction as in the term. They're Pulp Fiction good. They're meant to be consumed by the masses. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I don't know did you want to say anything else about Marvel?
Nope.
We said we were going to talk only about CD Projekt Red for the rest of the podcast. You lied.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
I mean, other than that,
last one. So, Uncle Jacoby did donate and told us to buy Kingdom Come Deliverance. Great game. Very slow. So, I am going to install console commands so I can just fucking bust through the game. Because getting new armor in that game is impossible. You need to be so rich. And, like, you kill a deer and you get a shit ton of meat from it, right? You're like, dude, I'm going to make so much fucking money off this deer. Oh, here's 5 fucking gold. You know how much an armor, a helmet fucking costs? It's like 5,000 gold. It's not fair. So I'm putting on console commands, giving myself like 1 million gold and buying shit. Because fuck it.
Okay. Well,
I just found an article that said, here's where you can get it. I'm like, dope. Doing that tonight. Alright, CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt
Start
Red
with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So Cyberpunk, we found this article saying that, quoting the developers, saying that Cyberpunk is a much more ambitious game than The Witcher ever was or would ever plan to be.
Which is cool because The Witcher
The Witcher is the most ambitious game I've ever played.
Yeah, it's pretty damn
It's ambitious. An insane game. It's a massive game.
I was thinking today because today for Game Club I had to get footage for the gameplay, obviously. And while I was playing it, I was like, holy crap, there is so much you can do. And like so much. I was just like, there's no way I can ever
So I started replaying The Witcher and I was like, alright, I'm gonna finish just the Blood and Wine expansion. It's an expansion. It should be easy to finish. It's been 3 fucking weeks. And I'm not even made a dent. I finished the main storyline, but the side quests take forever.
Wait, can you go to that like from the get-go? Like, can you go to Blood?
You need to be level 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you get to level 35 so quick? Did you like console commands or something?
Yeah, my second time playing through, I used console commands. So, because I did the first one, no console commands, just did it.
Yeah, that's what I probably will do.
Supposed to, and then the second one, I'm like, all right, make yourself level 30, give yourself cool shit. That way I don't have to worry about grinding because I already grinded for it. I don't care. I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to read this quote. It says, this is from CD Projekt Red. It says, Cyberpunk is our new Witcher 3, but even more ambitious. This is Adam Kinczki. I don't know. He's Polish. He's probably drinking vodka. Our goal is to establish a new blockbuster franchise from the beginning. We work in a new universe, futuristic universe. We believe you can tell he's Polish because it doesn't make sense. We work in new universe, futuristic universe. We believe it's very appealing to players, not only RPG players.
Hey, bro, I take offense to your insults about Polish people.
But this is a true RPG like The Witcher, like Witcher 3, for a mature audience. It's handcrafted, detailed, and of course, open world with open-ended gameplay. So much like The Witcher.
I'm excited. I probably am going to buy a copy.
When they say ambitious, they don't necessarily mean the game. They say ambitious business goals. They do mean the game.
Yeah.
Ambitious business goals is that this is their IP.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to make a franchise because they can't make The Witcher anymore.
Why not?
Because the author of the Witcher series is a fucking asshole and took away their
rights.
Their rights, yeah.
Really?
He's like, video games are the worst thing that humanity has ever made, and The Witcher 3's game is the worst thing that could have ever happened to my intellectual property because he's a fucking asshole.
That sounds very wrong too. I feel like
he lives in the past. Like that dude is stuck in 1982.
As I say, like, I feel like I wouldn't have even thought to look at his content if it weren't for the game. I feel like
Yeah, exactly.
the games are a lot more popular than his books ever were.
Yeah, I bet he's been selling a shit ton of. Like, you think any Americans would be like, I wonder if this
Obscure
Slovak
Polish
this
author.
Polish book is in English.
Yeah.
No,
I'm gonna learn Polish so I can read a book about what sounds like a pretty cool. No one would have given a shit. So whatever. Rip him. That's sad. Too bad. Goodbye, Geralt.
Yeah, it's really sad.
But
I wish there was another game.
I think that I think cyberpunk is really cool. Of a concept of a genre
for the 2 minutes of fucking content.
Well, no, I mean like cyberpunk as a genre, not like the cutscene. Yeah, the cutscene is dope, but like I mean like as a genre, cyberpunk. I think like Blade Runner, right?
Like it's very Blade Runner-y.
Yeah. So like I love that. I think it's really cool because like I mean look at the kind of entertainment we have nowadays that like what people Black Mirror, right? Black Mirror's whole thing is like, oh, future technology, which is like what modern society cares about right now. Is how technology is going to, fit into the world, which I am assuming that the gameplay is anywhere near as engaging in The Witcher. I will be hyped for this game. We're thinking there's going to be a release date this year, right? Or like at least hear a release date this year.
Or see some content of any kind. Going back to what I said about The Witcher, he said at the seminar he shot down any hopes for Witcher 4. He said we can't recreate a Witcher 4. We can't create a Witcher 4 because that was a trilogy from the beginning. No one said that one day we can't develop something in that Witcher universe in the future, but right now we're focusing on Cyberpunk. This is a really small studio, so they can't make 2 huge fucking games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Bethesda can.
Small?
Yeah, they're fucking Polish, dude.
What is that? What do you keep saying these things about Polish? I am so offended for my people right now. You can't talk about Polish people like that. They're good people. They work hard. They might not be the brightest bunch, but they work really hard.
You feed them enough potatoes, you'll get some vodka.
I mean, like, that's not even really their thing. I mean, like, yeah, sure, vodka is probably a part of, in that area, but, like, that's not... Okay. Anyway, do you have anything else you want to say about Cyberpunk 2077? I want to get into this, like, once it comes out. Like, I will definitely be picking it up and checking it out, and, like, hopefully I have time wherever I'm going to be in life where that point is. But, yeah, I am very excited for it, and assuming that this podcast is still going to... At that point, this podcast can be huge, so if you're watching from the future, hello, subscriber number 10 billion, of course, because we're going to be that big. We're going to have the entire world.
Yes, we have 8 million people in the arena right now. That's the doc would say.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be checking it out. It'll be great. Do you want to move on to the next thing by CD Projekt Red that we're talking? Yeah,
go ahead.
The next thing we're talking about is I don't know if you don't know about it. The Witcher is getting a Netflix series. I'm hopeful. The reason we're bringing it up now is because the script for the first episode is finished. And there was like, so Sal and I thought like there was a cast on IMDb. We thought that was the real one, but it wasn't. It's not the
so confirmed is the characters that will be on the show.
Yeah.
I just found an article on PC Gamer saying, "Don't worry, Roach will be a character on the Netflix Witcher show."
Oh, good.
We need that buggy ass fucking horse in the game. So the characters. So what fucking characters?
What characters are going to be in it?
So the characters are mostly characters from the Witcher 1, like the first game. But it isn't based on the games. It's based on the books, so we should specify that. Because, again, the author is an asshole and wouldn't give him the okay if they said they were going to base them on the books. But so the director, the showrunner, I don't think she's the director, she's the writer. What's her fucking name?
What?
Lauren Hisrich. Hisrich?
Is it
Hisrich?
the
I don't
first article here?
know. Yeah. No, I'm on another article.
It's rich.
Hisrich. She produced Daredevil in the Defenders,
Oh, really?
and she wrote a bunch of episodes for The West Wing.
Oh,
So she's like not just a
that
random showrunner.
that is a good thing to hear. Actually, that makes
Yeah.
me really happy because like at least like I know because like I don't know, kind of just something randomly that popped into my mind. This is really not the best comparison, but like I don't know, maybe it is. Recently Netflix just released their Full Metal Alchemist live action movie, which I heard was ass. And
Which
like
one?
Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I loved that anime, but like the movie looked kind of peculiar to me, and like I heard that it was ass, and like I feel like a lot of adaptations where you like make something from a different medium into a movie or a TV series or something like that is kind of risky, just because like I mean I don't know if you want to dive into like what we can talk about it a little bit, the concept of a Witcher series because the big question that you have to ask when you're making adaptations, right? And this comes up with all video game movies and TV shows is what do you have to gain by adapting this like subject material into a new media source? And I heard this talked about in this other YouTube channel that I watched that talked about adapting like anime and light novels, like manga and light novels into anime and about like what they should do with that. And like too many groups of people are scared when they make you okay over there? You got an earthquake going on in your room?
Oh, I kicked my desk.
Yeah. Your camera's shaking like crazy. Anyway, so like when you move something from one medium to another, too often people who are in charge of these things are afraid to change the subject material. They're afraid to they're like, but the fans, we're relying that the fans are going to come and watch it. And if we change it, they're not going to like it. Right. Well, here's the thing. If you don't change it enough, you're going to make the shittiest thing ever because you're just going to make a video game into a movie.
Yeah. And the best example is Game of Thrones.
You think?
If you translated the Storm, what is it called? Fucking A Song of Ice and Fire directly how it is in the books into a show, I would tune out in the first 5 fucking minutes of the show. I don't want to see 30 minutes of fucking Ned Stark describing his fucking feast he's having at his fucking house.
Yeah, he's focusing
palace. On yeah. Like, I don't care about how much sex they've had. I mean, maybe a little bit. But I don't care about how many sausages Robert Baratheon stuffed in his mouth that day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read the books.
I've listened to him on audio.
It's rough. You can tell that dude loves food.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I like that's kind of a pretty good example. Like it's just like when you're adapting a series.
Yeah, cut out all the shit you don't need. You don't need to do one-to-one representation of it.
I mean, like here's a really interesting example. I'm sure that they won't do this, but like if they spend way too much time like of Geralt riding around on Roach, I'm gonna lose my shit because like there's a fair amount of time in the game that you're just riding around on Roach because
but it's not on the game, so
yeah, I mean
it's based on the book.
Wait,
or like if there's like
I thought you said it was based on the games.
No, it's based on the book.
Okay.
On the novel.
Okay.
On the short stories. I'm pretty sure they're doing the short stories first.
Okay.
And a lot of people are thinking that there's not going to be just in order like the novels are. They're going to do a story, and there's going to be flashbacks to the short stories, because I think one of the biggest characters in The Witcher is Cirilla, the Ciri, mm-hmm. right? And they don't want to make an origin story of Ciri because that would take fucking forever. They might just want to start Ciri out in like The Witcher 3 does, kind of, and do flashbacks to when Ciri was training with Geralt. Or why she is who she is, who her dad is. Mm-hmm. Her dad is the fucking emperor. Like, that's not a spoiler, he just is. Mm-hmm. Why Geralt has her, why Geralt like brings her in as a Witcher trainee. Like the blast the price that the Witchers use. Mm-hmm. Also, I was reading. I lost my train of thought there, but fuck it. I was just reading that confirmed character that will be cast in the show is Regis. You haven't played Blood and Wine, but Regis is the coolest motherfucker.
Okay.
Hey, what up, hello? Hey, what up, hello, Nicole Lopez? I
like how that's
Regis
name.
just straight up her name. Yeah, Regis is a vampire who is like 3,000 years old, and he's just an old dude who gets drunk on just alcohol that he makes. He makes like a bunch of alcohol, and he's just sipping it, right? And he gives Geralt one drink, and Geralt gets fucked up because it's like vampire juice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "Dude, this is nothing." He's like, "Well, you're a fucking vampire. I can't drink this shit."
Yeah, dude,
Spoilers.
Yeah, because I haven't gotten to Blood and Wine yet, dude. You coming out here?
Oh yeah, Geralt. It happens in the first 3 minutes.
I can't play now.
Of Blood and
You know
Wine.
what? I was hoping there was gonna be a surprise. Geralt getting drunk is exactly what I would have needed. Now I know what happens. I'm done. I can't.
Geralt. Yeah. Hey Google, when is Jonathan coming back?
She wouldn't be able to hear you. She only answers to me. No.
Confirm also, obviously, is Geralt, Yennefer and Triss, his two love interests.
Well, duh. If you can't.
And Ciri, Dandelion, the bard.
I think I deleted that clip. That's one of the things that I like. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. The Emperor's guaranteed to be in it.
All that to say, right? We don't need to jump through the whole cast of who's going to be in it, but like,
yeah,
because like, here's the question that I want to answer about this topic, right? Is this show gonna be? Is this topic something that makes a good show? Does the concept of the world? Does the world of The Witcher? Does it make for a good show?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. I think it's a lot more in depth when it comes to the fantasy than Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is just, there's a little magic, right? There's some magic, there's a fucking dragons, that's it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the fantasy of it, I'm pretty sure I played the game for a long fucking time. I have like 200 hours on that game. Mm-hmm. And I probably haven't seen all of the monsters that are in that game. Yeah. Just the amount of vampires alone. There's like 20 kinds of vampires. There's lesser vampires, higher vampires, there's cataclans, there's fucking the ones that look like sexy bitches and then they disappear. And then they fucking stab you in the back. Okay. What I want to talk about though is who would you like to play with Geralt? Because this is the most discussed.
So I saw the one that IMDb has for him, right? The one that like they said.
That's Jamie from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Jamie from Game of Thrones.
Which I would not mind that at all. That seems like a great choice.
I think it'd be really good.
I want him to play it 100%. It's Matt Mikkelsen. He's in you know who Matt Mikkelsen is. Like if you look him up, he was in Rogue One. He was the dad.
Oh shit! He'd be perfect.
He'd be perfect.
He's
from what's it called? That James Bond movie.
He's also in Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
He's the lead zealot.
Yes.
He's
in Casino Royale.
Good.
He'd be perfect.
God, he'd be so good. That would be
another one who would be perfect. Viggo Mortensen. What am I talking about? Fucking Aragorn.
Oh.
Viggo Mortensen. He, dye his hair black. I mean, dye his hair white. Put that shit in a ponytail. You got Geralt.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Jamie would. Nicola Coster-Waldau wouldn't be bad either. Jamie.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying Travis Fimmel. Yeah, because Geralt's supposed to be like 120 years old, something like that. Because he does the Witcher mutations that make him be super old.
I mean, don't they stop aging though? Like
they stop aging, yeah.
Yeah. So.
There's a lot of people, but a lot of these are pretty shit.
Who else?
Richard Armitage, who plays Thorin in The Hobbit, wouldn't be bad. Too big of a nose. Carl Urban, who is the fucking I forget his name.
You could sit here forever and have potential
these
things.
But
I vote just as much. Like I will definitely watch it when it comes out. I vote just as much. We just move on to Game Club because I think that one pretty much speaks for itself, don't you think?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go ahead really quick before we move on to Game Club. Actually, let's talk about
Oh, but I want to say why Netflix made this move. So HBO is killing it with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And then Amazon bought for $150 million the rights from the Tolkien family to do a Lord of the Rings series. And Netflix is like, we need a fantasy series. Like, we need one. So they found The Witcher.
Okay.
And I think it's a great choice because it's different than the other two. The other two have a lot of similarities. Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. What's wrong, Rolly? Oh, he's being a weirdo. Do you guys want to see Podcast Pup?
Here's Podcast Pup. Do you have anything else you need to say? So I'll just jump into the other thing I wanted to say, or are you good?
No, I'm good. You can talk about The Witcher.
You got podcast. Well, I was gonna say first, I want to talk about the changes we're making to the stream.
Do that.
Well, it's not a huge change, and for most of the viewers here, they're not. It's just gonna mean one little difference. So because we want to make sure that this stays as like we're taking this podcast very seriously. Part of it, especially given that we got a very generous donation last episode, and we're trying to work on making this a much more serious project. And taking it like as a business standpoint, we're going to go ahead and we've made a business like email and our own channel and Twitter and all that under the exclusive release name. So starting next week, we're going to be streaming from twitch.tv/exclusive release. Rather than my personal stream, we're going to be streaming from our collective stream. So all that you're gonna have to do, it's gonna look exactly the same. All that's gonna be different for you is that go to the URL, and also ideally I would like if for you, of course, to follow that one as well. If you want to do that right now, you can do that, or you can wait.
Yeah, it's me. You just go twitch.tv.
Just go over there and follow it. Twitch.tv.
Yeah, we're also investing in a logo, which I actually forgot to talk to you about this week.
It's okay. We're working on it. We're working on stuff. We're making it better.
Also, for you YouTube people, we are gonna make a YouTube channel dedicated just for exclusive release.
Yeah, that's
not son Jonathan's channel.
Yeah,
because I don't know, we want it to be separate.
Yeah. I'll leave I'm not gonna like delete that YouTube. I'm just gonna
no.
I'm just gonna be like, hey, if you want to watch exclusive release, it's actually gonna be over wherever pointing in cyberspace. All right, you good? Is there anything else important?
Now, some people want guest speakers. We might.
Oh no, I want to do that at some point. It's just that right now we're still. I
definitely want to get a good few episodes before we get a guest.
Yeah. Which I would.
And I don't want to do like a interview kind of thing. I don't want to do that. If I want to have someone on, I want to have a guest host. Yeah. Someone who just goes into the flow of the show, and we don't have to ask them questions. That they're just as if they're a part of the podcast. Yeah. That's something I want to do because from what I see, other podcasts that are successful with guests, that's how they do it. They don't interview people.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, let's be real. The point about an interview is like, hey, you are important for some reason. Let us ask.
Yeah, we don't know that many important.
No, we don't know anyone important. So if you're, sorry, but
I do. But
if you end up on our podcast, you're not that important because we're on here. So we're on here. So
we out here.
Not important. No, but I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe down the line, sometime soon we'll get guest speakers on. And
do you want to talk about The Witcher?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into Game Club. We're getting into. Let's see if I can do this well. So we're gonna start with Game Club this week. We're talking about The Witcher 3. Let's start with. You good there? I'm trying not to kill us all. Let's start with which one should I start with? I'll start with
Uncle Jacoby says he loves the new ad.
Oh, I'm glad that you love the new ad. Your money is definitely
well spent. Jack, I did get I don't know if you've been here for a while. I did get Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I was saying that I am gonna get mods for it because it's a bit slow paced for me. I enjoy it, but a bit slow, so I want to increase the pace a little bit.
So this is The Witcher 3, of course. It's funny is like actually you can see me kind of like trying to figure like I keep opening menus. It's because I haven't played this in a little while, and so I had to like refamiliarize myself with controls.
Did you is that the wolf armor? It is, right?
No, I don't think so. No, this is like some random armor that I picked up off of some dude.
Geralt of Rivia.
Like,
No, that's the wolf armor.
White
Oh no,
Wolf.
I'm wrong.
yeah,
I'm wrong.
it's not.
You stand accused of
But,
offending religious sentiment.
Anyway,
We've
so
orders to take you in for interrogation.
this
Surrender your weapons.
audio playing from it. I don't know if there is. I think there is.
What's that?
Anyway, if
This
it's
is a
too loud, let me
misunderstanding.
know. So this is The Witcher, CD Projekt Red, Witcher
I'll
3.
need a receipt.
It is a role-playing game in which you. Here's the really cool
Drawing
thing
it
about
up
it.
for you
It's a detective.
Remember
game,
the preacher
because like
who
it doesn't
spoke of
syndicate at
witches,
first. Like I didn't
witches.
expect it going
A man
in.
you
I went into this
humiliated
game the very
before his
first time
faithful.
a while ago, not really knowing very much about how it plays out. I was kind of expecting something more like Skyrim, but in reality, you're Geralt being a Witcher is like you're a hunter, a monster hunter for hire. So you've got magic abilities and all kinds of good stuff. And the combat's pretty fun.
Wait, why'd you give him your sword, you twat?
I don't know, if you want to see the dumbass, I thought like maybe like there was actually something.
You're a fucking idiot.
I'll still kick their asses. Doesn't matter, dude. I'm freaking Geralt of Rivia. Obviously, very Dark Souls-esque in the sense that you roll around in most fights. Most fights you're just rolling around. But anyway, so the cool thing that I really like about this game is that, like, when you're doing the hunts, you'll get to see it. When you're doing the hunts, you're mostly trying to track down the monster. And you have this thing called a Witcher sense that like basically like, can focus on different parts of the world. Clues will glow red.
You just have it. It's called Witcher sense. You just have enhanced senses.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And so like you see like you see like there are footprints and like you can smell better scents and stuff like that. The combat's fun, the character development's really interesting, and like the way that you can build your character different ways. You can focus on the magic of your character. You can be focused on like the hand-to-hand like weapon combat or like all kinds of. There's a lot of different ways to build your character. But I will say the magic is probably the most rewarding. It feels the most rewarding level up. One of the cool things, you'll probably get to see it in a like I flipped through the bestiary there for a second, but I'm just looking through all my menus right now in my quests. Here we go. I'm about to pick up a contract. So in the game, you get like these contracts, right? And,
There's three types of quests. Let's just say that. There's a main quest, there's a side quest, and there's Witcher contracts. And there's treasure hunts, but I almost never do them.
Yeah.
So they're both Witcher contracts are like their contracts. And then they don't have
like,
any
hey,
story.
there is
It's
a
not
monkey who come and he take all my banana. Go kill the monkey. That's what.
That never happens.
That's
so
exactly what happens. It literally happened
never
today.
happens.
No, but it's
And
it's like something's killing my goats.
side quests. There's a story to it, but it's not that important. And main quests are like the main storyline of the game.
And then the Witcher contracts are, of course, you go into town and you are told you need to kill something. And so you have to first you have to find the thing that you're killing, figure out what it is, and then you have to kill it. Now,
Yes.
there's usually a lot of different ways to, like, there's a lot of different things that go into that. And I have a clip for that in a minute. But you'll get to see here. So this is a Witcher contract I'm picking up. So I follow my quest here and I talk to this guy.
Greetings,
and he explains to me
master.
essentially like, oh, you need to go. I've been having a problem with an imp, he says. And then you talk about the price. He's like, all right, I'll kill it. You know, and you're like, let's discuss price. You can like bargain with him. I waited here for way too long. I think.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. At the point, like, talk about like just the game in general.
Well, yeah, just the game in general. Like I said, it's a detective game, which is what's cool, which is kind of why I want you to get to see it. But like, when you're playing the detective part, you like actually feel the very first quest that the very first contract that I did, the Griffin one, actually is like, because like you have to do that to progress in the main story, really does a good job of showing what it feels like to be a Witcher in this sense.
Hear
Because
about the contract. Really got an imp problem.
you literally, without going
Or
too
is
much
that
into
just
it,
an imp
like it's the first time you learn about how to hunt, like as a new
ought
player
not
going into
jest,
Witcher 3, it's
Master
the first time
Witcher.
I learned how to hunt.
I know the
And so like
creatures are only
it's like
consist of
you walk up to
fairy
this nest
tales,
and you
yet
like look
I
around at
saw
different
one
stuff
with
and
my
like
own
find a blood
eyes
trail.
as
And
it
Geralt,
stole from my
as you
spawn.
examine things, he narrates like like gouge marks are deeper here. There was a scuffle,
What
you
did
know,
it
and it's like,
swipe from you?
oh, there's
Once
blood marks here. It
bread,
was injured. It's
then
like,
a
oh,
fish,
tufts of
then
fur were
apples.
left in the
Might
tree.
not
I need
seem
like,
like much,
like
but
pretty
add it
strong
together
scent.
and the
And you
business
follow
The
is
best
along.
part is when
And
you
I'm
find a
hardly
body,
known in
Yeah.
and I think
as
that happens in the first
knit
mission, and you
something
go
that
examine the
would
head,
stand
examine the hands,
strap.
the chest, the legs,
Yeah.
and you go like, oh, what does this mean? Or what does this slash mean?
Yeah.
And then you make deductions just off the
Yeah.
of
The-
the
All right.
The body, the
So
very,
what's this
the very,
thing
like
look
the very first
Like
one,
a
like
mean, fat
you're like,
cat, but a very large
the
one.
chest was, the
This
ribs are
tall,
broken,
see,
all of them.
and it
Needs to be
walked
really
upon
strong
its
to do that.
hind
It's like,
paws.
teeth mark on the neck.
So,
It's
will you
like,
teach the
okay,
lesson
they're like
your
really
silver
deep
sword?
claw marks. And then like he stands back, he's like, a griffin did this, or a drowner
Make it
did
worth
this.
my
And,
while,
like,
and
I
he
will.
like he like reasons it out, and like
high,
he like
supplies low.
realizes what monster he's
I can choose
hunting.
my
and it's not you making this. It's like it's kind of like Geralt. You're guiding Geralt. Be like his knowledge, what he would
Yeah.
know, because he's a Witcher. He has to know this shit.
A
Yeah,
bit
and
much,
Geralt
but a
uncovers it all
compromise
for you.
is
You have to
acceptable.
give him the means to figure it out, but Geralt figures it out for you. And the cool thing is then like what's really cool for me is like
Find
after
the
you figure out
solution
what
on your
you're
path,
fighting,
master.
you can go into
So
your
be it.
bestiary,
We'll call it
which
agreed.
like is a little journal on like the monsters that
Relax,
exist
I'll
in
help
the
you.
world, and you can
Small
read
businesses
what
are
is
the
this thing
foundation
weak
of a
to? Are
healthy
there any of my
economy,
magical
so
signs that
on
it's
and
not
so
good
on.
with? Are there like oils
Thank
that I need
you,
to
Master
use? Is it
Witcher.
weak against some kind of
I don't know if this
potion
will be of
or some
use,
kind of
but
weapon or
most
bomb or
recently
something like
the
that?
thief leapt
And
over
so
that wall
for
and ran into a passageway. It was the
like
last
I
I saw
love
of him and a
the
few
way
of
that
my
the combat
wares.
like has you tackle fights in like a full prep setup. So here you get to see a hunt, like the little red tracks show you where the foot is, and like you can walk up and examine them. And he's like, went this way or whatever. I actually kind of want to move on to the one where I actually get in the
Mug
fight.
like that. I think you were
but
copper. Got to be elegant like me.
the whole game,
Boy there.
you're the story, the world is rich with in terms of lore and background.
Merchant was
which is
right.
Awesome.
Actually,
It's
built
definitely
a
the
giant cat.
one of the most in-depth games when it comes to background and that I've ever played.
Yeah, like it's over.
Not even Skyrim
Yeah, no.
comes
Skyrim
close to
doesn't even come
this.
close to this.
Yeah.
Before the
It really,
You touched it, you bought
the
it.
bestiary is like my favorite thing because like there's all these monsters. Like I know, like I would look through like old books. Like when I was a kid, like I would look through picture books of monsters, like D&D monster manuals. You just look at pictures of monsters and read about like what they are and stuff, which is really cool. Or like the monster book of monsters for, or was it like new?
Looks like the imp
Magical
dropped
Beasts
some
and Where to
loot.
Find Them. Like when that was actually a book before it was a movie. Like that one's cool. Like these are all like cool things. And this game is that,
Definitely came
but not
through
only do you
here.
read about them, but you get to kill them. And that's cool.
Not all the time.
Not all the time, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like if the monster's like a humanoid type thing, like it's like a.
Drop down
Oh,
into
it's
the
just he
moat.
turns into a human
Trail
sometimes and
ends
he does
here.
his thing.
So, Geralt says this a lot throughout the story. He says, a Witcher's job is not to kill monsters, but to protect people from monsters, and that doesn't necessarily mean killing them all the time, which is pretty cool.
And like,
Because the cool thing, so Witchers are supposed, when they go through mutations to become Witchers, and it takes away all their emotions.
Paw prints
But
end here.
Geralt's such a softie. It's hilarious.
Start there.
He's such a
And-
softie for
Puss in Boots.
just people and shit.
Doors wide
and what I
open.
actually really like is like
Interesting.
the theme of like, because this has come up in a lot of different like mediums, but like this theme has the story of like, well, who are the real monsters here? Because actually in this city, the people, the normal people here are like the most awful and evil and self-serving.
Not everyone. There's like
Not
a
everyone.
specific group
But,
of
like,
people
a
that
group
are
of
like
people,
pieces
but
of
it's-
shit.
But they're people. And then
Yes.
like right now I'm hunting like the merchant says I'm looking for an imp, right? Like there's an imp who's been stealing from my shop. But here I am, actually I couldn't find it out right away. I'm just looting the house, getting food and stuff. But like I figure out pretty like as I'm reading through this and like I figure out the case. I think I like walked right past it too, it makes me sad. You like find out like, oh, it's a Doppler, and I look it up and it's like a Doppler is like just like it's a shape-shifting like creature. And long story short, I catch him, he runs away, and I'm like, stop running away, and he's like, fine, I'll fight you. And then he tries to fight me, but I'm a Witcher, and that's a mistake because Witchers are badass and they kick ass. And so, see, like I find the note here and I read it. And it's like, well, blah, 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 whatever.
Our imp's at least literate.
And so when I kick his ass, he's like, don't kill me. And I'm like, well, are you gonna keep stealing shit? And he's like, no, I'll leave. And I'm like, cool. And so he leaves. And then I go back to the guy to get my pay, and he's like, you didn't bring his head? I'm like, for real? And I'm like, he's like, no, I didn't. He's not gonna bother you anymore. He's like, you only get paid half. I'm like, whatever. I'm not gonna kill a guy who's not doing any bad. Let me actually pull up the combat in like the actual hunt, because this is one of the Witcher contracts like this one are my more favorite ones. So I'm tracking a monster towards.
My favorite part are the side quests. The side quests are because I love the little
Snippets of life.
there's like snippets of life, because you're dealing with like world-changing events.
Yeah.
Like if you don't do the main quest, speaking in the lore, the whole world, like, it's the apocalypse. That's what you're dealing with. But the side quests are just like, hey, this guy's been stealing my chickens, and can you help me out?
Can you tell him to stop?
And you're like, yeah, okay, I'll help you with your fucking chickens. Or this guy's like, hey, can you get like these tools from this island? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I have to go there anyways. I'll get your fucking tools. That's like my favorite part, because they have no idea of the shit they're in.
Yeah, they're like, or there's like a quest. There's a quest that I did in this one, like a random side quest. That's like, oh, this guy. There's another Witcher in town. Like, because he sees me, he's like, oh, another Witcher. We already had enough of the first one. And you're like, another Witcher, and he's like, yeah. He came in town. He ate and drank all of our like stores or whatever while he was thinking over taking the contract. There's a ghoul up in the graveyard, and this morning he said that, like, he didn't want payment. He would take his payment in another form. And he's like, the bastard, like, you know, he, like, bones his daughter. And he's like, now I'm gonna have a bastard of a Witcher. You know, he's like, and then Geralt's like, Witchers are sterile? So, no, that can't be a Witcher then. And he's like, well, maybe he was just like, you know, or whatever. He's like, but can you go take care of it? So here I am in a cave, and I just found this dead fiend.
A fiend?
And it's like,
those fiends are fucking scary.
Yeah, they are. They're scary.
Huge.
And it's dead, and I'm like, wait, I'm gonna fight something that killed this thing? For real?
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm looking around the cave here. But anyway, so that, like, side quest, I find the guy, he's, like, hiding in the graveyard away from the ghoul. And he's like, thank you for coming. And I'm like, bruh, stop lying that you're a Witcher. You're not. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then, like, these two guys come up, and he's like, don't tell them I'm not a Witcher. And, like, they're like, hey, 2 Witchers. At least you took care of the ghoul. And I had a choice of either saying, like, yeah, the ghoul takes 2. Or, like, I could say he's not a Witcher. And I was like, dude, screw this guy. He lied. And I'm like, he's not a Witcher. But don't kill him. I'm like, okay, good. So, in this right here, I'm looking for clues to figure out, like, cause I'm looking like, oh, they both lost a lot of blood. These clues are telling me like what happened, which is part of what it makes this game great. It's not just your average like, hey, there's a monster in the hills, go kill it. You have to figure out what you're hunting and what happened and how to get it.
So you can prepare for the fight. Yeah. Like, Jonathan plays the game like it's supposed to be played, unlike me. I just go and kill it. You can apply oils to your blade or do potions that will make you take less damage from a specific type of monster. I don't. I just go and kill shit because I'm too impatient for that. You have to track it down. Like this one, he has to.
So here's the cool thing. I just found it as a chort. So I go to the bestiary here, right? And I look up, well, what is a chort? I'm like trying to find it. I'm like, where is a chort? I'm like, no, it's succubus. I'm like, oh wait, who's this? And this is actually the girl that I just did the quest for, so I was like, reading about like what it said for her, and like looking, like it shows you what they're weak to, and so like I'm like, oh, short, okay, so I'm like, oh, it's weak to probably the relic oil, which makes sense, and then I'm like, wait, what's this other thing? So I'm like, oh, a devil's puffball, which is a bomb, it's weak to that. So I'm like, okay. So I go to crafting and I look and see like, oh, can I make a devil's puffball? And sure enough, I can. So I do. And so I make the weapon that this creature is weak against. You know, I don't have the means to make relic oil, but if I did, I would have, and I would have put it on my weapon. And
a lot of times you meet like one of a kind monsters.
Yeah.
And it'll put them on your bestiary because they're like special monsters.
Yeah.
There's actually a quest in Blood and Wine that you have to kill a silver basilisk. And this guy comes up, it's like, please don't kill it. It's the last of its kind. I'm protecting it. I'll make sure she doesn't kill anyone again. And you're like, but she's killed like 35 people. So like, what do? Do I kill the last of his species, or do I let it live and hope that this guy protects it? I let it live because I'm a softie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, last of his kind.
Yeah, but
yeah.
If Hitler was the last of his kind, he's only one Hitler.
Too bad the dung was not fresh,
well.
but it ought to still work for a lure.
So
he wanted to eliminate a kind, that's for sure.
Nazi jokes aside,
Hitler jokes.
I have to get this monster to come back to this cave that I just killed. And like Geralt's like, I need to create a bait out of the dung of like this fiend that is dead. And so, which is cool. It's like even in like itself, like the quest for hunting down these monsters aren't just go find it and kill it. They're like, you need to find it. You need to find out, like, figure out what it is. You figure out how to get it to, like, either come to you or be summoned, like, if it's, like, a ghost or something. Or, like, how to... And, like, not all of them are kill them, necessarily. Like, some of them are, like, either get it to leave or, like, cleanse its woeful spirit or whatever, you know? So I create this quest item, this bait. And I have to pour it all around the area. I really just want to get to the part where I start fighting it. But really, what makes this game really great are the hunts. I'm trying to figure out like where is it, and I remember I have to put it in my inventory. The hunts are really what make this game really great because you have this whole setup right here. And honestly, like after this, even if we wrapped up before you got to the actual fight, the cool part of the fight, what I like a lot, is this part. It's the finding out. It's the prepping. It's the getting ready. I mean, like, I assume, Sal, you just show up and slash it till it dies.
I like the dialogue and the content, like the historical content, rather than the fighting most. And the fighting's great, but I like talking to people the most. Sometimes they say the most hilarious shit.
I mean, like, yeah. That's what I like. I like the characters in this game a lot. Like, I don't think I've met any character and been like, that character was stupid. They're like funny. A lot of them are actually kind of funny in how like dumb they are. But
oh, you'll find some that are fucking dumb. There's some characters you're like, what the fuck's the point of this character? Like Dandelion. I fucking hate Dandelion.
Really? Okay, I wanted to talk about that. Dandelion. So when you're loading into the screen, it narrates where you're...
Oh, he's the narrator of the game.
Yeah.
And in the bestiary, he's the one that writes the bestiary, and he writes all the journal entries in your glossary. Yeah.
I didn't know that. But
like,
yeah,
if you notice, all the glossaries are like, oh, they're about this long. When you go to the Dandelion journal entry, it's just like so long because he's just talking about himself. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. So yeah, Dandelion is this other character in the game. He's a bard, and he just he narrates the story of Geralt. Like, so when you're loading into, like, when you first load up the game again, it narrates what the last part of the main story that you finished was. It's like Geralt and Ciri were reunited again, but for how long?
Done.
They talked, discussed, blah blah blah.
Short's attention.
And then he met Kira Metz. So it's just a little like narration.
Ooh, Kira Metz. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a little narration.
Have you met Shawnee? Do you have Hearts of Stone?
I have the Game of the Year edition, so...
Shawnee is the best one.
Okay, well, I haven't gotten that
She's
far,
the
so
best Witcher babe, hands down.
Yo,
oh yeah, by the way, lots of sex in this game.
Yeah, that is an option. I mean, like, if that's your thing, you do that.
It's not an option. Like, you have to, a lot of the time. Like, it's like a little rapey, look-y. Not from Geralt, from the women.
They're very
great 5 miles away.
Rescuing and manliness. I mean,
yes.
I don't know. I would consent to Geralt. He's a
He's
baby.
sure to show.
Also, a little side
years
note. You know, there's a Witcher school in like Norway or something like that where you can go and like train in ancient weapons. Like, you pay as like a tourist to go and be like trained in like the way of the Witcher.
The way of the blade.
The way of the
fuck it.
So here I'm actually
Kill
about
me.
to start the fight. I'm like last minute prepping. I'm like making sure all of my potions, double checking what they do, and making sure they're all fully prepped.
Yeah, I don't do this.
Yeah. Well, here comes in the big fight, and this is what I makes this game. Giant monster shows up, and
Come on.
I'm here to kill him. Actually, this fight. So this quest was supposed to be like 2 levels higher than me, and like it's like, oh, warning, if you do this, it's gonna be hard. I literally just like. I don't know why I put my torch on my father. But I literally just kind of whack at it for a while, and I used the puffball, like I said, I got made for this fight. So I really like the combat in this game. Actually, at first I thought it was gonna get stale because like I'm like all you do is swing your sword, but you're constantly switching between science and your.
Yeah, and the boss fights, when you're fighting a real fucking monster like that one, they're not easy fights.
No, they're not. This one, honestly, the only reason that like I can probably do this fight is because I spent a bunch of points in the weapon design, which is the shield that protects you. It basically guarantees you 1 free hit, and if I didn't have as many points into it as I did, this fight would not have been possible.
Yeah, basically the only signs that I use are the fire one and the pushback one. Because those are cool.
You don't use the shield one. The shield
I've been
is so
using magic trap a lot because you use a lot of blood and wine. This is really good against ghosts.
Yeah, it's good. It's good against ghosts too.
A ghost and vampires, yes, because
Yeah.
it slows them down. Vampires is fast to shoot.
And so, I like this fight does a lot of me rolling around and trying, and like also a lot of them have weaknesses. Like some of them it's behind them, other ones it's like their like front legs or whatever. So like you can critically hit. I remember when Donkey played this, like, about how like his weapons would break and he couldn't repair them. That was only an issue. Like
That's pretty fucking dumb. I will say that.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that.
It's like there's like, especially early on in the game, it's too expensive to repair them, and you're like,
No, even later on in the game, a repair kit is fucking expensive.
yeah, so it's pretty tough to manage it.
Also, right here, you're getting fucked because you used too many potions.
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing.
I
You need to
accidentally
use white
double
honey.
checked- Yeah, well, no, I accidentally double checked. But so this game, like, I don't know how much more we can say about it. I love this game. I still come back to it. Especially, the only issue is like with the mini games we're trying to play for this podcast. I'm not getting to devote the time I would. If I had my wish, I could do whatever I wanted. I would spend so much time just. I want to check out a couple of ones like Into the Breach.
Well, I mean, we bought. What the fuck just happened? Glitch the fuck up. Kingdom Deliverance. I already have 10 hours in.
I think he just straight up dies here to poison because like my sword has a chance to poison instead of stacking on him.
Oh, what sword are you using?
I can't remember. I think I got it.
The special sword.
I got it from the succubus. I can't remember what it was though.
You need to get the You need to get the school sets. A different school of the Witcher sets.
The School of the Witchers sets.
Yeah, the Witcher school sets. I use the Viper set, which you can only get if you do Blood and Wine, which looks just like the original armor that Geralt has, but it's like scaly. It has like Viper things on it. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about The Witcher?
Nope.
All
But
right.
it start wrapping up. It's kind of late.
It is very late.
We went deep today.
We did. I loved this game. Definitely recommend checking it out. We'll be back in probably a couple weeks with Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Couple weeks.
Maybe like, well, like I need a chance to play it. You've been the one who's been playing it.
That's
it.
true.
We got a
Oh,
chance to play.
I think we can both play at the same time because
We'll see. We
it's
can talk
not an
about that
online
later.
game.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Either way,
Oh,
this
aye.
game's great. 9 out of 10. I don't know. Good game.
A chork was prowling a nearby forest.
Let's go back to our main page and we can say our goodbyes. So remember, guys, be sure to follow. I mean, like, I don't know. We'll do the Q&A as per usual. But for everyone, YouTube and live watching right now, next week's gonna be at twitch.tv/exclusive release. That's where all of our stuff's gonna be. Follow us on Twitter and stuff. And be sure to follow for updates so that we can tell you what's going on. Sal, do you know any more on whether or not we're going to be here next week? Are you gonna be here?
Yes, I'll be here next week.
You'll be here next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, to everyone watching on YouTube, we'll go ahead and move on along to our Q&A. But for all of you on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to watch again next week. Goodbye to you guys.